Okay. All right. This is Elizabeth Moots, and she is Miss River City's Outstanding Teen.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and why are you doing all of this?
Well, I just am inspired by some of the girls I've watched be Miss Missouri's Outstanding Teen. I've watched, one of the major people I've watched is Ashley Whipple, who also had diabetes just like me, and I watched her really thrive in this organization. And I also grew up a little bit in this organization, so I've been inspired my whole life to compete, and I've seen the amazing effect it has on young women, so I wanted to do it.
I want to know who your favorite Harry Potter character is.
I'm gonna make a couple of you mad, but my favorite character is Draco Malfoy. I think that, in my defense, I think he is very misunderstood. Okay, he was born into this family. Okay, you can't help where you're born.
I personally like Snape, so I'm like.
So, there you go. He's also misunderstood.
Why do you read all the books every spring?
It's just kind of my tradition. I was sick whenever I read them the first time, and so I had 2 weeks to read them, and I was 11. So now I'm like, every single spring, it's Harry Potter time, and it's just a tradition.
How do you feel about J.K. Rowling's coming under fire for all of the fantasy part of it and all of the negativity that kind of surrounds it sometimes?
I think that she is a very, very smart person. Obviously, anyone that can write those books and inspire a billion-dollar franchise like that is a genius. I do think that she has spoken out a lot about issues that are controversial, and as someone that's a very public figure, I think it's important to be careful about what we're talking about.
Without type 1 diabetes, what else are you passionate enough about that you could have made a platform out of it?
I love the Miss Missouri's organization, and I don't know if that's something anyone has ever had for a platform before, but something I'm so passionate about is inspiring young women to come compete in this exceptional organization, because what other place do we get to have an 8-minute interview to talk with successful judges and to have this confidence on stage and learn all of these life skills that I believe are really crucial and are taught in the Miss Missouri's Outstanding Teen organization. And that's the second organization that I would be most passionate about. So it'd be something that I would think about making a platform off of, because I think it's so important to get young girls invested in this organization.
So have you gotten anybody to compete?
Yes, so I have a younger sister, and I convinced her this year. She was the most anti-pageant for so long, and then I finally said, come on, Caroline, you've got this, and she did it. And then we also got one of our friends to do it, and then I also have talked to tons and tons of young girls, and I've gotten a few little princesses signed up. So I personally feel like, as Miss Missouri's Outstanding Teen, I would be good at promoting the Miss America organization, because I personally am so passionate about it.
What does a day in the life of Elizabeth look like from wake up to sleep?
So this past week, we started going back to school full time. So I'm gonna give you that rundown. I wake up, I go to school, drive myself to school, and then I usually go home for a few hours, and then I go to dance. I spend some time working on either prep or I work on my homework, and then I go back to sleep. But weekends are where it gets crazy, because I do lots of pageant things. I teach dance on the weekends, and I just spend a lot of my time trying to make sure I'm being productive, or else nothing will get done.
What's your favorite form of dance?
My favorite form of dance is musical theater, because I'm a theater kid and I love being able to do Broadway songs and express myself through movement.
What do you do if you're trying to teach someone the dance steps and they're just not getting it?
Right. So there's a studio where I teach, and they had never taken tap class before, and so I'm the reason that any of them know how to tap now. And my strategy has been go through the moves slowly and just never get frustrated, because if you show that you're frustrated to someone that's trying to learn something that they don't know how to do, they will shut down and stop paying attention. So I just am patient with them, and we just talk through it slowly, and I tell them, you know what, this is your first time doing it. Nobody can do things on their first try, and I think that just telling them that they can do it is the way that they will learn to do it.
Do you think there's a correlation there for life?
Of course, I think there's a correlation there for life. Everything I've ever done is the reason because my mom or people that have encouraged me have told me I can do it. And I think that applies across the board.
If you had to choose today between dancing yourself or teaching, which would you choose?
Ooh,
The rest
dancing
of your
myself. Dancing myself. I love it. It's my passion, which is why I've chosen to teach it. But the only way I can teach it is through experience of doing it. So.
What do you think is the biggest issue facing women your age?
I think that the biggest issue is social media. I love social media, but I've never felt such negativity as whenever girls in my high school are talking about the images they see on social media and the way that I genuinely believe it's the biggest problem facing teens, especially young women, because they are comparing themselves daily to people on social media, and they're saying, okay, my life has to look like that, and they're watching this negative, because the media is not exactly a positive place, and I think that it is so impactful on people's mental health, and that it's causing a lot of the negative energy in my generation, and I think that it's going to be a really big problem.
You know, I've been hearing that for a while.
Yeah.
So do people really not believe what you just said? So
I-
why do we keep getting impacted by it? Because everyone keeps saying it's not real, but yet.
I think that the problem with that is because it's teens, and I think that as a teenager we're vulnerable to being told that we're not better, that we're not good enough, and that the media, while it has this like self positivity image, I don't think that it actually sticks to that message. And I think that teens are more vulnerable to being influenced by social media instead of the facts in their head, and that's the problem, is that it's targeted towards the most vulnerable, so it just continues to progress.
So should we get rid of it?
I don't think we should get rid of social media because, I mean, for my platform, it's one of the only ways this year that I've been able to promote From Victim to Victor type 1 diabetes awareness. But I think that there has to be this other message among, maybe even in schools, that you are good enough. This is not real life. This is the media, and you are worth more than the media.
Hey, I got a question. I'm sorry to hog it, but I wanted to ask you, why the word victim?
Because I believe that everyone has something to overcome, and the word victim, I think, is kind of a word that people use whenever they feel overcome by circumstances that they are in. And I believe, I mean, the words victim and victor kind of go together, so I picked that for that reason too. And I just believe in not letting yourself be a victim of those circumstances, because, I mean, every single person in here has something they're going through, and I believe that everyone can overcome those things through positivity and self-talk and really a strong overcoming mindset.
So how do you feel in the position that you're in? You are the image that a lot of women and young girls are going to try to portray themselves.
Mhm.
You're it. Like, you are the person on social media that I want to be like.
Oh, thanks.
Well, so, but I mean, so it's easy for you to say it's not real. You're it. So what do you do to convey that message, or how are you going to seriously get that message out to just stop?
I think that a real way to do it is to show my vulnerabilities on social media, to show the things that are going wrong in my life. Like right now, my family, we're in this weird process of moving between two homes, and it's been really stressful.
Mhm.
And maybe to talk about some really personal things and not just show the glitz and glamour, Elizabeth, but to prove that, you know, I might have some things figured out in my life, but I still have these problems. I'm still a teenager. I'm going through it too. And I think that that's the message that has to come out, and that doesn't come out on social media.
So have you done that, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I've spent time on social media, especially whenever we took over our Instagrams for the Miss Missouri organization. I spent time talking about specific things in my life, like especially type 1 diabetes. That's my biggest thing that I've had to overcome. I've talked about how hard it can be with my mental health, how it can be really draining physically. Sometimes I'll be having a super bad blood sugar night, and I just am struggling to get up and go to school the next day. But I've talked about how important it is to be able, because if you continue to stay in that mindset and to say, okay, well, I don't feel good today, I have to skip, I think that it's really going to keep you down forever, and that mindset bogs you down.
Very strong statement.
I think it's a true statement. I think that staying in a negative mindset continues that
Elizabeth,
negative
I'm sorry,
mindset.
your time's up.
Thank you.
Turn off your video, and I know you wanna get your comments on there.
Oh.
Sit down.
Helen will want my comments yet.
You're hiding your pump well.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even see it till you just
Yeah.
touched it. Yeah.
I'm good. I worked on it.
Alright, Josh, you can start. That's your drink.
I thought it was good. I mean, there wasn't too much about your actual platform. I felt like it was more related to social media, and that's fine too. But yeah, I thought it was good. Good eye contact. I think you didn't seem.
No, she just is looking at the
Oh,
camera.
okay.
I've been told
Gotcha.
eye contact.
Yeah, no, I thought.
Working on it.
Yeah, I thought eye contact was good. I didn't think that you spoke too fast or too slow. I thought you were pretty
Sometimes
confident.
you got pretty speedy there.
Yeah, I
Every now and
I had a few
then,
things to
every
say.
now and then I felt like you were on
Huh.
fast forward.
Yeah, I felt like we were like speed tracking.
Yeah.
I felt like it was
Yeah.
like. boom,
You're
boom,
the only
boom.
one that didn't think that.
I think when you got excited about
Yeah,
the question or the answer, then you sped up.
happens.
Yeah.
And I think that's something too, that I felt like every answer felt important to you. It didn't matter if it was like what the day was or about, it felt every answer you were like, I wanna answer this question.
Is that a
because-
good thing?
And you know what I think it is? I think that a little bit more inflection wouldn't be terrible, like a little bit more up and down with it, but I did appreciate that I felt like you were energetic and motivated to answer all the questions.
I mean, even with the Harry Potter, like you were passionate about that, so that's.
Yeah.
I think though, to make yourself appear to be more genuine, or as genuine as you are, to slow down.
Mhm.
Because to be anxious to answer every question, it might come across as disingenuous, because I can answer that question too. I can answer that question too, you know what I mean? And so just breathe a little bit more in between maybe.
Yeah, and
Slow
I've been
us
working
down.
on it. It's been
Yeah.
a whole year of me working,
Sure. Yeah.
chilling.
I think it'll be interesting when you watch it though, because I do believe there was a shift in the interview though, where I felt more comfortable. And it's when we kind of were talking about the social media, and then you threw in though your platform, you said the victim to victor,
Yeah.
which then allowed me to go, oh yeah, I might ask her about that.
Mhm.
And then I really, because my daughter has T1D too, so I was really curious as to what you were gonna say, and it was important to me. I really liked the way that you were able to take that word and change it and talk about it in a positive, effective way. I thought you handled that really well. And, I just thought that was like, kind of like a whole shift in terms of the way questions were coming. And I just felt you were more, I don't know, I liked you more and more as the interview went on. And I felt like there was more substance, and I don't know, I liked you more and more as the interview went on, which is a good trend. But, to watch that, I think there was a shift, and it was maybe.
You asked the question about why you chose the word victim, right? That's,
Yeah.
that's something I think that maybe it invest a little time in that a little
Yeah,
bit
I
more.
haven't even
Just-
thought about that really.
Right,
I mean,
it's-
other
it's
than
something
the
that I
basic
wouldn't have thought to
idea.
ask, but I think
Yeah.
that it can be such like a powerful word for some people, so I think that maybe just have a couple more ideas in your back pocket about like what that word
Right, because
could be.
victim can have like a, oh, you're victimizing yourself
Right.
connotation
Well,
I
too.
think your
it's a
answer was
very,
good,
it was a
too.
good answer, it's
It
a very
was.
trendy word right now.
Right,
That
it is.
depending on who you are speaking with,
Right.
would either take offense
Correct.
to the way
Right.
you respond, or because it is in the news right now,
Yeah.
you're victimized, and,
And-
you know,
But you turn it positive, because
Yeah.
you're saying that
You can-
everybody has a challenge, which
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
right,
And that, we choose how we handle that,
Mhm.
and that was becoming the victor over it, so I thought it was a
Yeah,
positive message.
you did a really great job with it, but I think, I think it's something that like could help it even just with more answers to other questions. I think
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
help it to just explore
Well,
that a
everything
little bit.
applies to everything.
Yeah. This is kind of off base too, but your earrings actually were a little distracting to me.
Were they?
Yeah, you move a lot, which I think is kind of like your energy, but
You wouldn't wanna wear those, I mean, they look cute for today, but you
Yeah,
wouldn't.
these
wanna
are
wear
not,
them.
this isn't my
I wouldn't think so, but just, I would say, that was just something
Okay.
that I
I
was
didn't think
Because
until
you-
you said it, but
yeah,
then-
you do your head a lot, and they're like.
like, yeah, it was something I think that it was like, it just
Okay.
alluded to
Yeah.
like as much movement as you have.
I'll find
It is
some
super,
more-
I know, they totally work.
Yeah, I'll find some more relaxed earrings for state.
There you go.
For really need.
Elizabeth, you've been listening to things I've told you though, because Elizabeth used to relate everything to her diabetes in her interviews. All she wanted to talk about was her platform. And you didn't do that this time. I mean, you brought it up in a very appropriate time because no one had spoken about it yet. But you didn't relate everything to it, so yay for you. You
Yeah,
did listen.
okay.
That was a
Thanks.
good thing.
I've been trying.
Yep, you did a good job.
Okay, so biggest takeaway, slow down, Liz, which has been my takeaway for like a year, so. Working on it.
Anything else, guys, for Elizabeth? Good job.
Okay, thank you.
Good job, good job.
Yep.